Donald Trump, for some reason, like I'd say 90% of the liquor stores I go into, there's somebody who watches the show. I don't know why that is, but
good people.
All good people, of course. But they were like, all the people in the liquor store were talking about whether Trump was going to be indicted on Tuesday.
I think for a lot of people, it's just like they've been hearing about how he's so corrupt and crooked for this whole time period that there's a cathartic element to it. But I don't know how much this hurts him electorally.
Right. I don't. Well, I think it's also, I mean, these aren't, the thing is that the payments to Stormy Daniels, not the most relevant of the things that he did, I think, that were criminal. But, you know, it's sort of, there's an Al Capone quality to this, right? You get him for not paying his taxes.
Which is funny, too, because when it comes to the Georgia probe, it looks like they're pursuing RICO charges, which is exactly what Giuliani was using in New York to go after the mob. So now it could be turned on his buddy, potentially Giuliani, too.
And I will say this, too, that Georgia is far more irrelevant, it seems to me. You really, as a president, shouldn't be interfering with the election counting in that way. But here is former President Trump announcing on Truth Social Saturday that he thinks he's going to be arrested on Tuesday, tomorrow, of this week. And you know he's exercised by this because all caps.
Yeah.
Now illegal leaks from a corrupt and highly political Manhattan District Attorney's Office, which has allowed new records to be set in violent crime.
What? Records.
New records.
We're number one, baby.
Records in the sense that they're only records if you don't look at like the olden days.
Yes, as a part of like a record in the past downward trend over the past few decades in New York. It's a little bit higher.
I mean, look, I think to be fair, there's new records every day.
Yeah.
Like they record things. It just isn't
There's not
broken.
superlative.
No.
Gotcha.
He dropped the part about breaking any records. It's just new records. We take records every day. How many people were arrested today? That's a record. We've recorded also what the temperature is today. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's
new record temperature today.
New records to be set in violent crime. News leader is funded by George Soros. There we go. Indicate that with no crime being able to be proven and based on an old and fully debunked by numerous other prosecutors fairy tale, the far and away leading Republican candidate and former president of the United States of America will be arrested on Tuesday of next week. Protest. Take our nation back. And how many likes did he get on that? Like 25?
How many truths or
how many truths?
The all caps kind of it hurts his emphasis and it makes it a little bit harder to read the syntax of something that's that big of a block of text.
I don't really think his followers are they see all caps and they go, "We're angry now."
Here's what do we have here? Here's number 2, right? Oh yeah, okay. This is these are all of the things from Trump's from Truth Social that he did on that day. Okay, you got like 30,000 people. Remember the same animals and thugs. Oh wait, so I should start from the bottom actually, right?
Right.
16 hours ago and go to the next one. See if like what's yeah, okay, start from the bottom. This is what we'll do. I find it very hard to believe that a racist Soros-backed DA.
So he's black, so that's why he's racist against white people?
Well, he's going after
a white guy.
He's going after a white guy. Remember, this is also the guy, it's not illegal, although I would, it would have been nice if it was, who put a full-page ad in the New York Times, was it? I think it was, about the Central Park Five, who were exonerated after decades in prison. Put an ad against them, basically calling them animals and that they should be arrested. I find it very hard to believe that the racist Soros-backed DA who lets murderers, rapists, and drug dealers walk free, and who has presided over the biggest violent crime wave in the history of NYC.
Nope.
Yeah, no.
Well,
I think you might want to ask Giuliani about.
what do you
that
mean by
time period.
biggest? What do you mean by wave? Is using the power of his office to persecute, indict, and prosecute a former president of the United States of America for no crime. The witch hunt never ends, but we will make America great again.
Are you sure?
An hour later, Jess reported that the most important witness to go before the New York City grand jury, a highly respected lawyer who once represented convicted felon, jailbird, and serial fake storyteller and liar, Michael Cohen.
So the highly respected part was sarcastic, but it's just not clear. To Matt's point. Okay.
No, wait a second. No. You're misreading it.
Oh God, I mean.
Yeah, no, it's hard.
How could
It's
I
hard.
confuse?
Okay. Just reported that the most important witness to go before the New York City grand jury, a highly respected lawyer, comma, for other people, there's no comma there, but there
Okay.
should be, who once represented convicted felon, jailbird, and serial fake storyteller and liar, Michael Cohen,
Okay.
will be doing so tomorrow afternoon. The information he will present will supposedly be conclusive and irrefutable. Witch hunt. So what he's trying to say here is that this guy Costello, who at one point might have represented or was contemplating representing Michael Cohen in 2018, but ended up just representing the Republican Party or Trump. He wore a lot of hats. This guy Costello is going to testify, theoretically could today, that Michael Cohen is a bad guy, liar. And apparently, Trump says supposedly because he's not supposed to have in any way probably conferred with a witness who was going to go in. I mean, they called this witness, but in the case of the grand jury, at least in New York City, if an indictment seems to be imminent, a grand jury will allow the subject of a grand jury to call a witness in their defense to perhaps, testify. They don't get there to ask questions, if I understand correctly. I don't think, but they will call the witness, and the idea of this witness is to impeach the testimony of Michael Cohen. Now, Trump can't possibly know this because he probably wouldn't want to get involved in its tampering. Although one could argue that all of the what he's doing now and what the Republican Party is doing,
Oh yes.
is obstruction of justice as they go after the DA. But nevertheless, Trump only supposedly knows that this information will be conclusive and irrefutable.
Irrefutable.
That's what Bertie told me.
And then 4 hours later, remember, the same animals and thugs that would do this to perhaps 200 million people. But actually all Americans.
Sorry, what is that? What's
Okay,
going on
I'll
there?
explain what that is. He thinks he's saying that the animals and thugs that are doing this, that I guess is the
Black DA.
Black DA
and
of New
Black
is
Democrats.
doing this to 200 people in America who 200 in his mind 200 million people voted for him or
Yes.
supported him as the president, and then he reconsiders it in the next following clause. But I mean by not just 200 million, actually all Americans. He's doing it to all Americans.
Yeah. So because you are all
So-
me, this could happen to you.
So about 2/3 of Americans like Trump, and then another third.
Well, at first he's saying 200 million, 2/3 of Americans like Trump. And then he goes, but actually all Americans.
So that other 131 million, that you're also included in the 200.
Right.
Add that onto the 200.
Right. So he's saying, remember, the same animals and thugs that would do this to perhaps 200 million, but actually, no, all Americans, whatever that number is.
we go
Could've
on,
just
we
gone
go
straight
on.
to all any American.
Yes, to all Americans. But what clearly happened is he was like, I don't want to have to look up how many Americans there are. So
Yeah,
let's just say it's got to be all Americans.
Yeah. I don't want to politicize this.
are the communists, Marxists, rhinos, and losers that are purposely destroying our country. So there's a two-part project. The one is to do the thing to the president, and then to then purposely ruin the country. And then,
Jesus.
like, I guess 6 hours after his first Truth Social, can you imagine the great New York City Police Department, correctly referred to as New York City's finest,
Needs editor.
who, for the first and this is like reading the Twitter files.
It's like Proust syntax over here.
Who, for the first and only time in history, endorsed a president, me, and honored me as Man of the Year, having to defend and protect the defunders and cop haters of the radical left that want to put their greatest champion and friend in prison for a crime that doesn't exist.
So he's trying to get the cops in New York on
All
his side too?
the while, the Soros-backed DA allows murderers and other violent
Oh my God,
criminals
we get it.
to freely roam the sidewalks of New York. You know,
sidewalks.
the one things I will say this, the sidewalks of New York.
I didn't notice that.
I didn't notice he misspelled that. But the one thing I will say about the murderers and other violent criminals in this city, they may be murderers, they may be violent criminals, not jaywalkers.
No.
They are on the sidewalks of New York.
It shows like that Trump is like only ever around those people, like from the door to the car.
Yeah.
Like the
I
sidewalk.
see him.
Sidewalk's scary.
I look to my left, I look to my right, and I can see them down the
A lot of
sidewalk.
danger there.
And
Totally
then
on the sidewalk all the time.
an hour later, it is the district attorney of Manhattan who is breaking the law by using the fake and fully discredited testimony, even by the SDNY, of a convicted liar, felon, and jailbird Michael Cohen to incredibly persecute, prosecute, and indict a former president and now leading, by far, presidential candidate for a crime that doesn't exist. Alvin Bragg should be held accountable for the crime of interference in a presidential
God,
election.
they heard that about Russia. Just never let it go.
There you go.
Well, he's trying to rile up his supporters, right? That's what he thinks is is almost a legal tool for him.
Doesn't he say like people should rally?
Yeah.
Didn't he? Wasn't there another tweet of him saying like
come out?
But I think at one point they also said like surround. What did he want to do? Like surround City Hall so nobody can get in there or something.
He wants to use that at his disposal because it's an intimidation tactic when he gets his supporters all riled up. He feels like this is fair game for him, to avoid any kind of real prosecution.
Well, I wonder if it isn't considered like in any way trying to influence the grand jury
That
in
too.
particular. I
Yeah.
mean, like if you're on a grand jury, do you really want to be responsible for igniting, a civil war? I will tell you, I don't think it's going to ignite a civil war.
No.
I think that the number of people who come out in an attempt to surround City Hall will not be able to be like enough to even like block one of its entrances.
Yeah.
Well, they're stretched too thin because a lot of them are protesting drag shows right now. So
It is tough. They've got a lot of things to do around the country. Do we have that tweet?
Also, guarantee it's just not. Not guarantee. I don't know, but it would be funny if it just doesn't happen Tuesday, and he gets everyone all riled up for it, and then it happens another time where they can't be.
I don't think it's going to be Tuesday. Do we have that or no? No.
They're pushing his supporters are pushing what they're calling a patriot moat to surround Mar-a-Lago so that they can't arrest him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The Patriot Moat. That's what it was. Right.
protest, take our nation back. Yeah.
But he didn't call for that.
Yeah, no,
I actually don't want you around Mar-a-Lago. Let's not do it in Mar-a-Lago.
Little
This is
close.
funny.
Little
They're-
too close.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of tweets, so he might have said that, but like another all caps. They're killing our nation as we sit back and watch. We must save America. Protest, protest, protest.
Yeah.
I mean, just
No peaceful
full-on
in there.
hysterics right now from Trump.
But not at Mar-a-Lago. Let's not. I don't want people.
I'm not saying.
Hey, it's not like I don't want you at Mar-a-Lago. It's just that I don't want you at Mar-a-Lago.
Not in Palm Beach.
When he's saying we're sitting back, he's like, you guys are all sitting down. Why aren't people storming the Capitol again or something?
Yeah, right.
Everybody up.